everybody, and welcome to the newest indoor adventure in the Four Keeps, Departure, Part 12. Today is June 7th, 2021, and you are loved. That is a very important thing that we like to remind each and every single one of our viewers and listeners at the beginning of each and every single one of these sessions. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/indooradventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, including full playthroughs of Curse of Strahd, Ghosts of Saltmarsh, Tyrant Security, Tomb of Annihilation, Waterdeep Dragon Heist, and many, many more to come. We are also available anywhere audiocasts are made for free, and speaking of things that are being made available for free, if you go to patreon.com/indooradventures, you can check up on our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to join us on our Discord. The link can be found in the description of this video or audiocast down below, or in the Twitch chat to this side if you are watching this live. Which, of course, if you are, it's 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for all of you VOD viewers out there who possibly want to watch us live. But if you already support us on Twitch, you already support us on YouTube and Patreon and all of those other places, and you're trying to think to yourself, where can I go to help support this wonderful show even more? Guess what, buddy? I got your back. Quite literally, in fact, because if you go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, we got t-shirts, we got posters, we got mugs, we got crop tops, throw pillows, shower curtains, aprons, clocks, and most importantly, we also have Tiamat masks. That's right, we got face masks with the symbol of Tiamat upon them, done up by our very own Cyberwolf1201, where all of the proceeds of those masks end up going to help support Doctors Without Borders. So if you would like to help support the show, or possibly help support a good cause, feel free to go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. That is indooradventure, no S at the end, .redbubble.com. But that is it for my opening spiel. So hey RJ, who you playing today?
Hey everybody, I'm RJ, and I am a he/him. Tonight I'll be playing Caelum, the Shadowkai Wizard, and he identifies as a threat.
Hello, I'm LBHackEmUp. You can find me at LBHackEmUp on the Twitters and the Twitches. I am she/her, and I'm playing Gwen, the halfling barbarian fighter, who is also a she/her.
Hoi, I'm Cyber. I use he or any pronouns. Is your friend trying out new pronouns, or you're trying to see how you feel about new ones? Talk about me and chat with them. Tell me my dog's pretty. Tell me my hair is jank and that I'm an idiot because I keep forgetting what my character is. Arjhan is a Illyrian, Draconian, Dragonborn, Ranger, and Cleric. I have to read that off the D&D Beyond because I keep changing it. But Arjhan uses he/him pronouns.
Hey everybody, I'm Wings, she, her. I'm playing as Cori, the Elegant Paladin. She, they, or he.
And I am the Indoor Adventurer, and tonight I shall be your Dungeon Master. So, last we left off, we ended up having a break last week, just because of some internet issues, so that's no problem. We're going to give a little bit of a recap. No worries on that one. So, where we left off last time, your dear friend Farron had just been resurrected, brought back to life, instilled with a little bit more firepower than he possibly had previously. And it was at that point that you ended up going to Galay, finding the remnants of Off Constantly, his former adventuring group, and managed to get the gang back together. Where, trying to figure out the best way for Farron to recoup, you decided that you were going to drop them off at the Dragon Forge, Arjhan's essential home at this point, but also a small bolstering city that is actually in need of some guards at this point in time. Mostly because they just didn't really have any before. So, hey, guess what? You got a job for Caelum's dad. What a great son he turned out to be. It was at that point that you decided that you were going to begin heading back towards the city of Vaskor, and along the way Caelum, you were able to finally recoup after the negative effects of a wish spell, and there was a little bit of inter-party conflict as well. As when you had stopped by Gwen's tribe, Caelum, you had suggested to the group that you should have a ceremony for the body of Corvain, and it was from there that the Raven Queen was able to kind of figure out where you were, as well as where Corvain was, and tried to snatch you into the Shadowfell. Casting a Dispel magic on yourself was effective. However, in the process of doing so, the spirit of not Elisharis, my bad, the spirit of Amaris, that girl, formed as a large spiritual owl and blocked a lot of the Shadarkai that were trying to steal you back. However, Amaris is now stuck in the Shadowfell with the Raven Queen, and Caelum, you decided that after you deal with the things going on in Vaskor, that's where your next sights were set. Again, this caused a little bit of tension within the party, I want to say, as the idea of going up against the Raven Queen just seems like maybe not a great idea, but it's the only idea that you guys currently have in that aspect. And again, began making your way towards Vaskor. When you were about a day away, roughly coming towards the end of an evening, I know that at the last session I had said that it was a full moon. I was wrong about that one. Looking at the dates, it was going into a new moon, so it was actually more of like a big black orb in the sky rather than being the full one that you are used to seeing. However, the phase of the moon does not really matter at this point in time, because what truly matters is that you all saw a large red beam of energy shooting up from the horizon where you know Vaskor to be, that pierced through the heavens, hit against the moon, turning the moon itself into a deep blood reddish color. And that is where we ended last week's session, or 2 weeks ago's session, really. So let us pick up there. You guys were setting up camp, or at least like getting in the preparations to, and then you see this happen with the thunderous sound that had accompanied it. What is the plan?
How far away is Vaskor?
You would know that it is roughly about a day's travel away still. So if you pushed your horses, who you've already been pushing pretty hard, it would take about 5-6 hours. Otherwise, it would take about 8 hours of travel.
Okay. Zoom did a weird thing. Sorry. It confused me. 8 hours. Okay, so we can't get there today.
Not without magical assistance.
I'm not the only one seeing this, right?
No. No, you're
Is
not.
this what was going to happen in Shroudport?
Likely.
Well, we gotta go. Let's go.
Arjhan, back when we were trailing Caelum, we traveled through the hells. Is it possible for us to do that again?
Whenever we did, we lost days. We got there faster because it was...
Distance was great enough that
It
didn't
was a
really
significant
matter.
distance.
What do I have?
I can jump really far. That's all I got.
We could push the horses some more today, but then that's going to be it. They're going to be tapped.
And so are we.
Well, we're just gonna, watch from a distance?
Steven,
Yes.
could I make like an Arcana check to see like what phase of pulling the worm critter is like from right here?
What phase of pulling
Like,
the
are
worm
they-
critter?
From like the wherever it's coming from, like, is this an immediate problem or is something coming out now? Like, that sort of thing.
I would say make an Arcana check.
21.
21. So Gwen was not far off when she had said, is this what would have happened to Shroudport? if we had not been there. As you're looking at it, there is a big old beam of energy that you are guessing is shooting up from there that is directing towards the moon. As far as an immediate threat, if there was one, that threat is happening now. And you aren't sure, like, that doesn't look, the moon turning red and everything going on, that doesn't look like something that is a predecessor. That looks like the current threat. So as far as being able to pull through a large wormy, you're guessing that that is either happening currently or already happened.
Right. Well, relaying this information to the team.
Arjhan is like panicking. Like he's frustrated. He's trying to figure out something to do. He's at this point turning away from the group and just like hands up in his head spikes. He doesn't have hair. I have something, but I mean, what else is going on here?
I can do the demi-plane shift trick again, but I am... approximation might be a bit off.
They have, like, people to defend the city, right? This isn't like Shroudport.
It's a mage town.
Right. So, I mean, we have to get there fast, but, like, they can do stuff, right?
Sounds of things, they've already failed.
Can we fly? Will that be faster?
All the methods of flight that I know have a time limit on them.
Well, let's just ride through as long as we can. Let's ride until we get there. If we don't have anything else, let's go.
While Arjhan is, I mean, he's still right there, but he has turned away and like walked like 5-10 feet away from the rest of everybody. And just like in this desperate plea, he is going to say, "My queen, you've been coming through for us a lot. But that which the disaster that I need to stop is here. Now. I wanted to help you by making people believe in your power, that you had their best interests at heart. And I know they'll flock to you if you come through for us in this moment. Help us save them."
Roll a religion check.
Do I have to use intelligence?
I would say you could use wisdom.
10.
10? Okay. So the response that you get is a feeling like assistance will be provided, but it cannot be provided for long. What is the nature of the request? Expedited travel or a direct assistance while within the city?
It would be better if we got there now.
Okay. So there is a confirmation. And Arjhan, you hear a It's almost like a humming from 5 separate voices. And the shadow that extends from you, and it's currently being cast upon from this large moon, seems to grow into what looks like a full-sized dragon. And then the shadow begins to rise out from this 2-dimensional field as your shadow creates a beast, a flying beast before you. But it doesn't look like it can hold on for very long, but it does look capable of flight. And the rest of the party just sees, like, hears a little bit of what Arjhan is saying, and then you just watch as his shadow extends outward and then grows into this, what looks like a draconic shape.
I understand. We need to go.
This
Now.
is good. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
We go.
I don't know if we're jumping on or if it's grabbing us or whatever,
it
but we are
is-
vamping out.
Yes. It is kind of like it lowers itself and drops a shoulder down to allow the 4 of you to climb onto it. And as you, as much as you need it to, this creature lifts and then begins to soar through the night sky. Thankfully, it is dark, and shadows are creatures of the night, in a sense. As Gwen, you are going faster and farther than you ever thought possible on a dragon back. Kinda. I mean, it's like a shadow dragon, like a dragon made of shadow stuff. Not so much the shadow dragon that you fought before. But
Is it sort of like the end of the Aragon movie? Like the really shitty
Yeah.
Aragon movie?
I
Oh, I
would
was
say
thinking-
yes, but I have blocked that movie. That is in the haunted house of movies I will never see again.
Okay.
Up here.
That's fair.
Is,
That's
if
just-
that is what
That's what's in
happens-
my head.
If that is what happens at the end of the Aragon movie, then yeah, that's pretty much kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, it's real stupid.
Jeremy Irons is in it, and that's all that I know, but he always sells whatever he's working in. Regardless, this shadow beast is going to shave off a significant amount of time. And as you are soaring through the air, you feel like you will probably be able to get to Vaskor in about an hour, comparatively to the 5 or 8 that it otherwise would have taken you. And as you are soaring over the countryside, looking down, as you get closer to Vaskor, as you pass over the horizon and see this double-decker city, this beam of red shooting straight out from it, looking down, you can see that there are townsfolk that are leaving the city with a quickness. They are doing their best to get out while they still can. And as you arrive, the dragon begins to sort of lower down onto the ground, as it seems like this shadow stuff is beginning to lose its form. And it begins to lower down closer to what looks like the front of this city, the walls. And looking in from where you are up high, everyone who has dark vision, Gwen, I believe you have some goggles about you that allow you to access this as well. Roll a perception check as you look into the city to see what has happened.
Do people like see the shadow dragon coming down?
Yeah, there is like, but it's one of those things like they are already having a bad day. All of a sudden a dragon shows up. They don't know how to process that at all.
We'll fix the PR later.
Yeah.
Natural 20.
Okay.
16.
16.
I'm pretty sure I don't have something like that.
I thought
made
Caelum
you a
made-
pair.
Yeah, because we had joked that whenever you power them on, there's the telltale "Whee!"
Oh, Oh, was that an item that I was given?
Yes.
Or an item that I had to put into my stash?
It would probably be an item that you would have had to put into your stash.
That's why it's not there. Okie dokie.
Well, you have them. All of us
I
remember
did.
that you have
10.
them, so it's good.
What are they called?
Visions of
Goggles of night.
vision,
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah.
Thanks.
So yeah, as Arjhan, you were looking into the city, and Cori and Caelum, from the three of your perspective, you can see that there are like shambling humans that you recognize from Shroudport. That are like, some are rushing up to what look to be humanoid-esque individuals, but these humanoid individuals are the ones that you had seen before, that were a little more preventative in you trying to use your own flying methods to get through the city. You recognize these as kind of mechanical defenders throughout the city, known as the Silvered Legion. And as these worm-riddled individuals are coming up, the mechanical forces are putting a stop to them as well. And it seems like there is actually a very good defense being made by these robotic soldiers. However, that is what Cori and Caelum see and can acknowledge. Arjhan, one of the things that you notice, first and foremost, there is more than just worm-addled civilians fighting against these robots, for lack of a better term, these Warforged. You start seeing creatures that you have only seen in part during your travels in the Hells. There are devils and there are demons that are placed sporadically throughout the city that seem to also be fending off against the worm spawn, which seems very interesting, to say the least. But another thing that you kind of notice, though, is that one of these devils, as you're fighting it, or as they are fighting against one of these worms, seems to fail in their attempt of fighting back. But as they are in the process of turning into this blackened ichor that would send them back to the Hells, you see their form stiffens, and then they begin to straighten up. And it seems like this fiendish creature is beginning to lose its hold and is succumbing to these worms. That is what Arjhan sees.
Oh. That's not good. God, they're using fiends as defenses and they're about to fall.
We need to get
Right.
to the missile.
We do. What's our best guess as to where that would be?
You are guessing that the Mythal is most likely going to be in the upper deck of the city, where the giant red beam of energy is coming from.
Oh, yeah, that we...
Very large beacon.
It's like Suicide Squad. There's a clear directive.
Was that a joke?
Was
No.
Suicide Squad a joke? We could talk about that in Nights in the Courtyard.
No, look, I've done 2 movie references. I've seen at least 2 movies. This is an amazing game for me. I did. I mean, we need to get up there. Can we? Do you have enough full flies? Do you have enough energy to get us up there?
I can do it.
Okay.
Well, I could just ride with you, right, Arjhan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Caelum casts Fly on himself and Coriander.
Yep. Yes, lady. And we try to go up.
Okay. So as your group is in the process of flying up through from the ground itself to the second layer, the other thing that you begin to see is that parts of the city are beginning to fall, the upper city in and of itself. It looks like buildings are just sort of tumbling down, connected to chunks of rock that can no longer be sustained up above. And they are just coming crashing down. And as they are in the process of tumbling down, you see that there are some of these wizards that have chosen not to run away, but are doing their best to just like cast shields on themselves, try and like mage armor through it. But heavy rocks falling from up high do not make for a very good adversary for certain wizards. And many of them are just sort of meeting a more grisly fate than they had intended by enrolling into college. As you are flying up, there are all of these bits and things that seem to just sort of be falling down from the upper layer, including what you can assume are worm-ridden bodies. But as you are continuing to make your way up, eventually you see that there is at least a spot to land. And upon doing so, or are you just sort of like flying up, going directly to the beacon, landing in?
That seems like a good option.
Okay. So as you are flying up and heading towards the center of this beacon, you can see that there is a domed building that was behind several sets of walls. Some of these walls have just giant breaks in them that looks like something either tore through them, going in or out away from where this beacon is. But you see wrapped around, coiled even, around this large building is a creature that you have come face to face with, that you then brought up a wall of force and stopped previously. But it seems to be free, and it seems to be doing its hecking best to kind of guard this general area. As you are making your way in, or at least towards this general area as well, you can see that there are just like sporadically placed throughout this either campus or estate, wherever it is. None of you are really familiar with the layout of Vaskor, but in this general vicinity, you can see that there are more of these worm-styled individuals. Cori, the interesting thing for you is that you have seen creatures like this before, where the others have not. Back when you had first, and the only time that you had traveled to the moon, where there was a influx of these like worm-styled creatures, you start to see creatures like those. Just more of these like hulking, almost gorilla-like creatures that are made entirely out of just this writhing star stuff. And they seem to also be marching out of where this beacon is.
Cori will get everybody else's attention and say, Alistrae's defenses have failed.
Should I go down there? Should I take the Goliath and go down there and try and hold the portal?
Uh,
How are we going to stop this? What's the plan?
do we think that if we kill the worm, get it away from the mythal, that we can... Caelum, is there a way that you can reverse this somehow?
Possibly. I was able to do it with the first one. Caelum's gonna go for Corvain's spellbook.
Okay.
Do you have your shiny new robe?
He does.
Perfect.
He looks down at the hordes of the worm monsters and just says, I'm gonna clear a path. And he's gonna overcharge and cast Meteor Swarm.
Okay. So, I would say for this, we don't need... You can roll the damage for funsies if you would like to. It's ultimately not necessary, as this is more of a narrative thing, but depending on what you are targeting with said Meteor Swarm.
Probably to clear them a path into the building to get to the missile.
Okay. Mythal.
Mythal.
M-Y-T-H.
I'm just waking up, everybody.
That's okay. It was
That's
your
okay,
birthday yesterday.
It is a very big magic missile.
120 points of damage.
Okay, and as you are overcasting to do this, what does it look like for the rest of the class as you overcharge into a 9th level meteor?
Caelum flies an additional 30 feet up, and he will extend a hand upward. There are 4 red strings that just shoot up into the air, and he will yank downward as these tiny celestial bodies come crashing through the stratosphere.
Okay. By the time that they reach the ground, they are not as tiny celestial bodies as one would hope, but I mean, you're making a meteor swarm, so definitely helps on that one. And these large rocks just pummel into the earth and cause, well, like, you clear a path. And as they hit and shudder against the ground, chunks of the earth also begin to sort of fall from beneath, no longer being able to be held up by the magics that had kept them there previously, as they just begin to fall directly towards the ground. But that's a problem for another time. Right now, you have bigger worms to fry. So as this happens, I would like for everybody to roll into initiative as you have made this path opening.
I actually have double digits in initiative. 12.
13.
20.
12, 13. What did I do with this thing? So, sorry, Arjhan, what was yours?
20.
20.
Modded 20.
12. And Gwen.
17.
Okay, so just so that way have all of it here. All right, so you guys have created this opening, and you can see that there is now a path that has been cleared for you. Looking into where this beam is coming from, this large worm is still coiled around the building. And the majority of these forces are no longer there. Is it just going to be a quick try and maneuver into the building to see what you can do to stop it, and then in the meantime hold off against these worms? Or are you going to try and take care of everything on the outside first and then go in?
I think that we should at least send one person inside to try and stop it.
Be me.
I mean, do we want to split up?
I feel like the best plan is everybody goes in and we send one person to like have Caelum try to like end the thing, and then the rest of us cover him basically.
Is it a spell ending situation or destroy it situation?
You are not sure.
We don't know. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I think we should all go in.
Okay.
Alrighty. So you all quickly using the fly spell zip by these remaining gorilla-like defenses, and before this worm is capable of coming down and lashing out towards you, you are all able to quickly get inside of this building where this beam is coming from. And when you get in, you see again that there is this large gem that has a series of almost what look like pages from a spell book just draped over it that have just an obscure, illegible text that seems like it is written in this dark ink that you all recognize to be almost like a dried blood that you had seen previously on the mythal that was from Shroudport. And as you get in, you see that this gem, while floating there, is shooting this beam up into the sky. There is a portal that is already open on, like, adjacent to the gem. And what you can see through it is that there is it's like a night sky that has no real illumination other than the stars above, and what looks like just gray rocks as far as the eyes can see, looking forward in through this portal. Inside of this chamber, there are two of these gorilla-sized creatures made of worms, and standing behind them, arms raised, with what looked to be hundreds of worms moving and manipulating in such a way that you are guessing it is part of some arcane ritual, you see a robed figure that is made entirely of these worms. And as the four of you arrive in, the figure turns and looks to you, and you see twin pinpricks of like this lime green energy where the eyes are. And you recognize this as one of the same kind of mage-like worm creations that had been in Shroudport as well. So, at the top of the initiative order is Arjhan.
First off, I know we haven't spent a lot of time in Vaskor. This isn't... We don't recognize this as anybody that we've met previously.
You do not, no.
Cool. Sweet. I would very much like to cast Hunter's Mark on... is it just him, or is the big worm behind him?
So the massive worm is currently on the building above that you guys had like snuck below. If you would like to have used Hunter's Mark on the big wormy before entering in, you can totally do that as well.
Yeah, the larva mage is fine.
Okay.
I would like to mark him as a hunter.
As a hunter do.
Because that's what a motherfucking hunter do. And I would like to take my 3 attacks.
Okay.
17.
Okay. 17, that hits.
Oh. Okay. For my second one, this will also hit with a 24.
Okay.
And my third one, this will also hit with a 23.
All 3 attacks hit.
Okay. So, a lot of force damage incoming. Well, I guess it's all going to be force. That's 15. 15 plus 11, that's 26. And then 3d6. For 13 on top of what I just said, 26. Okay. So that's 39. 39 points of damage.
Alrighty. So as you release these 3 blasts towards the larva mage.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I need one more from Drain Ambusher.
Okay. Do it.
Okay, 2 more points of damage.
Okay.
For 41.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Thankfully,
Sorry,
I just do equal sum and then parentheses, and then whatever numbers you tell me, I can just put in, and then it gives me the total at the end.
Okay.
Sheets are a powerful thing.
Okay. Well, now you won't have to deal with that many numbers. I only have 2 attacks from that one.
Okay, sounds good. So yeah, Arjhan, you come in and you just start blasting and strike out against this larva mage. And the larva mage, as these bolts go in, there are just these vacant holes that are in the creature's body that then just begin to fill back in. It seems like damage was done. As you can see, like the robe that it is wearing does still maintain these holes. But ultimately, it is still a creature made out of a swarm of other things. So then next up, it is Gwen.
Hi, I'm Gwen. Gwen is going to jump from the back of Arjhan and just go down with her axe through this creature if she can.
Okay, make an attack roll.
I fixed what I was gonna say. I would like to rage first.
Okay.
The first hit is, or the first attack is a 21.
Yeah, that'll hit.
For 19 slashing damage and 5 fire damage.
Okay.
Do I do fire damage with the Runtax and I've never been doing it?
That is a recent thing.
Okay,
where
good.
as part of your bonus action to rage, your fiery spirit ignites the Runtax.
Right, okay.
That
I
happened
remember
when you
this
were
now.
fighting against Cypress.
Got it. Okay. Second attack is a 25.
That'll hit.
And that's 19 damage again and 8 fire damage.
Okay.
And that's my turn.
Okay, sounds good. At the end of your turn, it is going to use a legendary action to make an attack against you. So that is 18 to hit.
18 hits.
And then I need you to make a Constitution save.
Is this poison?
It is. As it is
18.
Okay, so an 18. That is not enough. You are poisoned until the end of next turn.
Good.
You are also going to be taking 8 points of bludgeoning damage, but then you round down anyways, so you're fine on that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. And there we go. Ooh. Yes. So that was the end of Gwen's turn. Next up, Gwen, as you have landed down onto the ground, the other 3 of you are still up in the air. One of these gorilla-sized creatures, entirely made up of these wormies, is going to rush over towards you and is going to begin laying into you with some fisticuffs. So it is going to make 2 attacks towards you. So that is going to be, first attack is a 23 to hit.
On whom?
That is going to be Gwen, because she leapt down onto the ground to fight these creatures.
Yes, that hits. Definitely hits.
And that is going to be 14 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Okay. And then that is going to be a 11 to hit.
That one doesn't hit.
Okay.
You actually missed me.
Wait, did you recklessly attack?
No.
Oh, okay, cool.
I just attacked twice.
Sweet.
Surprisingly.
Just wanted to check. So that is all that creature can do. Then next up, there is a rumbling from the roof of this building that you are currently inside of. And you see the roof begins to break inward. And as it does, a monstrous face of this large, for the sake of it, we'll call them a spawn worm, begins to break through the roof of this building, and with its back half still attached to the top, worms its way down and will begin to attack the members that are still in mid-flight. So let us see here. Its first attack is going to be against... Its first attack would be against Caelum. So that is a 30 to hit.
Yeah.
Okay. And there we go. Ba-ba. All right, so that is going to be for 27 points of piercing damage, and you are considered grappled. And until this grappled ends, the target is restrained. It is then going to make a bite against you. Also, I need you to make a Constitution save for your fly. You're good?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Nope.
So, Arjhan thankfully has wings. Cori, I'm guessing that you were probably about 20 feet up in the air or so.
Sure.
Make a dexterity save. If you see,
Okay.
Yeah, you're looking for let's say a 14.
I did not make a 14.
Okay, so then you are going
Can
to be
I
taking...
reaction feather fall her?
Do you want to use a feather fall as your reaction currently?
Yes.
Okay, so you'll prevent the 6 damage that Cori would have otherwise taken. Solid. So, feather fall has been cast. You are still going to be taking or it is still going to be making a bite against you as it has you in these large tendrils. That is going to be a 22 to hit.
Yep.
Okay. So that is going to be for... That is going to be for 27 points of piercing damage. And make a dexterity save.
At disadvantage. No, don't I fail because I'm restrained?
Restrained is... You have disadvantage.
Okay. 0.
Excellent. This large wormy is going to consume you. As using its tendrils, it just puts you right into its maw. You have been swallowed by this worm, and a swallowed creature is blinded and restrained, but has total cover against attacks and other effects outside the worm. That's pretty good. Plus, thinking on the bright side on that one.
God, I love you, Indoor.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Is it fine?
So, large creature has swallowed your mage. Cori, it is your turn. And you have this large, big ol' worm that has crept through the ceiling and just nommed your friend super quick. Like the snack he is.
As far as threats, what we're looking at is a wormy mage, a big gorilla worm brute, and also a big worm that came in through the ceiling.
Worm.
Okay.
2 of the gorilla ones and the mage.
There's 2 gorillas. Okay.
Yes.
God. Bonus action, I'm going to Misty Step over next to the mage. I'm in summer form, so it takes 4 fire damage.
Okay.
And then as my standard action, I'm going to blast a lightning bolt at the worm. So it needs to make a dex save.
Okay. That is not enough.
Do
That's
I
a
also need to make a
7.
dex save since I'm inside the worm?
Glutton for punishment.
No, that's you just said because they're in total cover.
Yeah, it's a lightning bolt though, which
goes
through in a
things.
line.
I'm shooting
I
at the
would
face,
say,
though.
Yeah,
I'm
if
sorry,
Cori,
you
you're shooting
said
at the
full
face.
Full cover.
Yeah.
All right, Cori, you said that. I would say, Cori, like, you know worms, maybe.
I know where tummies are. I've been in one.
Yes. Yeah, so I would say you would be able to angle it on this creature in such a fashion that you can hit it, but not your friend who has been consumed.
Okay. I do that. And it's gonna take 33 lightning damage.
Okay. So 33.
That's my bonus, that's my action. I don't think I got anything else.
Alrighty. So, then let me see here. Alright, Caelum, it is your turn.
How big is this worm?
It would be considered gargantuan.
Cool. I polymorph into a sperm whale.
Okay.
Which is also considered gargantuan.
Sure.
Fun facts. From a Rime of the Frost Maiden DM.
Have you seen a sperm whale?
Them things is big.
He did hang
No,
out with
I'm
Oliviette
asking.
on her ship for at least a month or two.
Okay.
And I would have probably read about them in books.
All right.
I don't go out much.
So you polymorph into a sperm whale.
Oh no.
This would work both ways. So when you polymorph, roll, or let me see here, just a sec. It's restrained. Yeah, you can still do attacks and things like that. Roll 5d8 for me.
29.
29? Okay. So the creature will take 29 points of damage. Roll 5d8 again.
28.
You will be taking 28 points of damage as a sperm whale.
Okay. And then I gotta make a con save. Which I make.
Okay. This wormy is still able to hold you in its tummy. It doesn't look pretty, and we won't describe it from the outside. If anything, like the camera looks over and it's just like the mosaic sensor of where this is happening. Just like, let's not look at that. But you are now in sperm whale form inside of this big worm's tummy. So that's a plus. Then that is Caelum's turn. Next up, it is the larva mage. And the larva mage is going to look at you, Gwen. And Gwen, I need you to make a wisdom save for me.
A wisdom save.
Yes.
Well, good news. I'm super wise. But just in case, let me make sure that... Is this a spell?
It is a spell.
Is he within 5 feet of me?
He is.
Baller.
He's within
I
5
had
feet
to
of me too.
Get this at advantage. Okay. First one was a 13. Do
Plus
I get
4.
a buff from Cori? Okay, yeah.
At
So
plus 4.
17. Ooh! 22.
Also he triggers an attack from both of the mage slayers next to him.
Okay.
Yes, I would like to do that.
Dirty 20 to hit.
That'll hit.
I'm gonna smite at my highest level. Give me just a second.
I rolled a 19.
That also hits.
Ooh, okay,
He's
I got
wearing regular ass robes and is made of squishy worm.
22 slashing and 7 fire.
14 slashing from me, and I just need to find my smite button. 23 radiant damage.
Okay. So, you also rolled. What did you roll on your wisdom save?
Me?
Yes.
22.
22. All right. So you feel the effects of a charm spell wash over you, and you have this flashback to being in Shroudport, where you had seen Arjhan begin to fire upon his friends for a brief moment, and you feel like this mage was attempting to get you to possibly play on his side for a round or two. Thankfully, that didn't happen. But yes, that is what the attempt was to do. And as the two of you strike out against the mage, another one of these gorillas is going to come up, and it is actually going to go behind you, Cori. And it is going to make a series of attacks. Or actually, it would make these attacks against Gwen still. So, that is... Hey, Gwen, does a 15 hit you?
It doesn't!
Then the second attack
16.
is a 23 to hit, so that one will do her. So, Gwen, you are going to be taking 14 points of bludgeoning damage as this thing attempts to... brings down one of its large arms to slam on you.
Okie dokie.
Right, that is its turn. Next up, Arjhan.
Arjhan is going to reach into his belt and grab a vial, stick it in his crossbow and cock it, which shatters the vial. Point his crossbow at Gwen and fire.
Gwen just like turns and looks as this is happening. What?
And then Gwen, you notice yourself getting that the room around you, everything is starting to like shrink down a little bit, or like, oh shit, you're getting bigger. And you become affected by the enlarged spell. I've used a potion of growth on you.
I love it.
It's less cool than you would think. You get advantage on strength checks and strength saves, and then your attacks are going to do an additional 1d4. But it's what I got.
I mean, I'll take it.
And I still have 2 more of these. And then I'm going to use my second attack against the larva mage. No, yes. Yes, I have to. 23 to hit.
Okay, so a 23 hits.
Uh, 19 points.
Okay.
For my bonus action, I would like to vanish.
For sure.
Or, sorry, use Nature's Spell. But I'll be invisible. And then I would like to move a little bit, like, between, like, the mage and the worm.
Okay. Sounds good. So you're between the mage and the biggin worm. At the end of your turn, the mage is going to do a slam attack against the newly embiggened Gwen. That is going to be a... Not enough to hit. That's a 14. This has never happened before.
Weirdest. I know, this is the weirdest day. I'm like, wait, No, there's like 4. I'm gonna keep tally. It's a big day for me.
You're having a good time. So that was at the end of Arjhan's turn. Gwen. And Gwen, you have 2 of these gorilla-looking dudes on you. There's the mage, and then whatever obscene thing is happening up above is currently playing out. Again, that is heavily censored because there's too many tags that nobody wants to deal with.
Yeah, Gwen is going to look up and seeing that Caelum probably has this handled, assuming that Caelum has this handled, Gwen is going to use her, she's going to summon Grayskull. She's going to manifest an echo behind one of these mofos. She is going to swing with the runtax at one of the gorilla-looking things.
Okay.
And then have Grayskull swing at the other one. That's a 28 to hit.
Yep, that hits.
And do you need me to like suss out which damage is what?
No, you're fine.
Okay, 19 total.
Okay.
And then Grayskull's going after the other one. That is, well, I get a 21 to hit. And 24 damage. Let me roll the extra d4s. Hold on. So 2 for the one Gwen hit, and an extra 3 for the one that Grayskull hit.
Okay.
How do these guys look like they're taking this? Do these guys look like chumps?
They look like they're taking it pretty well. These look like they were guarding the mage for a reason, you would think.
Okay. Then I will use my let's see, I already manifest echo. I will I will then just action surge and, you know, second burst, same as the first. So the first one is 17 to attack.
Okay.
And 18 damage.
Sure.
And then the next one is 16. I'm rolling like absolute garbage. 16 to attack.
That just hits.
And 15 for damage.
Okay.
I have a plus 13 to hit. I should not be doing this. Yeah. Sorry. Also the d4s. I keep forgetting the d4s. The first one is 3. The second one is a 4.
Okay. Sounds good.
Sorry, this is new.
That's okay. So, the next up is going to be one of the Hulks. That is the one directly on you, not the one with Grayskull. So they are going to make a series of attacks against you in an attempt to strike. That is a 17 to hit for the first one.
Yes, that hits.
Okay, so boo. For 14 points of bludgeoning damage.
Mm-hmm.
And the second attack is going to be a modified 20 to hit.
Yes.
And that one will deal 18 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Okay, and then Gwen, you also take 8 points of psychic damage, and I need you to make a Constitution save.
Should I have been taking poison damage, or am
No,
I
it's
just
the poisoned condition.
Okay.
And it was
Okay.
only until your next turn, so you've already passed that.
Is this spell being cast within 5 feet of me?
This is not. This seems to be as a result of these punchies coming towards you.
Is it against being frightened?
It is not.
Okay, then this is a Constitution?
That is correct.
I just gotta check all my boxes. I got a lot.
Yeah.
18.
Okay, 18 is just enough as the second strike comes against you, it's almost like the fist explodes to wrap around you to try and keep you restrained, but you're just like, nope, 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 and just shrug that shit off. And it seems like with these strikes, the first one isn't the one that you need to worry about necessarily, but when the second fist hits, you can feel that internally, not in a like organs kind of way, but like in your brain meats. It seems like there is, it has a way of getting into your psyche that you are not exactly thrilled about.
I got it. Thank you.
Yeah, no prob. Next up, it is the big old worm. So Caelum as a sperm whale. At the start of its turn, you take 22 points of fire damage.
Are you still a sperm whale?
Still up.
Okay. Then the big ol' core spawn worm is going to continue its descent down into the room and is going to actually come up behind you, Cori. And it is going to make some attacks.
Okay.
So its first attack is a natural one.
Okay.
So the big ol' grabby things on the front of its face do not end up being able to grab you. However, it is still going to attempt to bite you. So with its bite, that is a 25 to hit.
Yep, that'll hit.
Okay, and so Cori, you are going to be taking 29 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
I need you to make a dexterity save.
13.
13 is not enough.
Okay.
As Cori, you are also nommed up
4.
into the wormy's gullet.
Okay. Am I considered swallowed?
Yes, you are, which means that you are
Okay.
blinded and restrained.
Okay.
Bork?
All right, so that is it for that one. Hey, guess what? It's Cori's turn.
All right. What can one do when one is blinded and restrained?
Cry.
Well, blinded attack rolls against the creature have advantage, and your attacks have disadvantage. You fail any ability check that requires sight. Your speed is 0, and you have disadvantage on dex saves. So you can still try and attack this creature.
Okay, that's fine. Lightning bolt
Okay.
from inside the creature.
Let me check real quick. Lightning bolt.
To be able to see to cast a
In a
spell.
direction you choose, so you don't actually have to see in order to do it. Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Zap. Dex save, I guess,
Roll a
for the worm.
roll a d4 for me.
Okay. But 4.
Okay. 4 is the good number. As you are
Okay.
inside of this creature, kind of disoriented, blasting a lightning bolt in a direction. Thankfully, the bolt shoots through this creature and does not hit any of your friends. Roll for damage.
Okay. 30 lightning damage.
Okay. Sounds good. Let's see if it passes the dex save. That's a 10. No save. Then you are very lucky. You are very lucky indeed. Because
How so?
if the worm takes 30 damage or more on a single turn from a creature inside it, the worm must succeed on a DC 21 Constitution saving throw, or At the end of that turn, regurgitate all swallowed creatures, which fall prone in a space 10 feet from the worm. I rolled the Constitution save from the 30 points of lightning, and I got a nat 1.
Oh.
So this worm just yarfs a Cori, who falls prone onto the ground, and then horrifying everyone except the people made of worms, it throws up an entire sperm whale instead of Caelum, but now we don't have to have the mosaic filter over the sensor bar.
Corey's gonna pat the sperm whale and be all like, "There we go, got you out,
However,
all according to plan."
there is a spatial differential now, as two gargantuan creatures are filling this space. So, Arjhan, make a dexterity save. You are hidden, yes,
Okay.
but there are many gross things that are happening here.
Should I also just like mark a stress point from the new Van Richten's rules? Because I am stressed from
I'll say
everything
yeah.
that just happened.
Sure.
This is
And we all-
horrifying.
I always have stress marked.
No, that has more like mechanical effects now.
All right. And that was it for that there wormy. Caelum.
Hold up, my deck save.
Yes, your dex save.
Corey, wait,
21.
Yeah, she just had turn.
21 minus the 1 stress, so 20.
All right. So, Arjhan, thankfully, you see Cori coming out first, and your like instinct thought is, oh god, there's going to be something even bigger coming out after that. So you can with your dexterity, you manage to get out of the way in time for this gargantuan worm to throw up a also gargantuan sperm whale. So no damage, but stress.
It's just like, but nobody can see him.
No. Caelum, as a sperm whale.
All according to Keikaku. I'm gonna bite this star worm.
Okay.
Wait, a sperm
No,
whale has
I'm
a
not.
bite attack?
Of course it
Yes,
does.
it does.
Oh, it also has a swallow attack.
Yeah.
A sperm whale is a big chungus.
I know, but their teeth are like sticks.
Yeah,
But it can
but
still bite you.
Yeah, but
No,
think
a
about the
sperm-
amount of them.
A sperm whale does not have baleen. What you're thinking of is a blue whale. Sperm whales have teeth.
All right, now I need to look this up.
I don't
Sperm
Uh-oh.
whale teeth.
Uh-oh. We're all about to have to mark more stress points.
But sperm whale Caelum is going to make a tail attack at the base of the missile.
Look for sperm whales fighting giant squids. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so we were making a tail attack towards the mythal. Roll to attack.
Yes. Natural 20.
Good. Roll for damage.
Yeah, this is going to be great because it's an object.
Yes, it is.
12d6.
All right. While you roll that, I'm going to use the bathroom real quick. I shall return. I drank too
Me
much
too, we'll
coffee
be right back.
before the stream.
Don't look it up, guys.
I'm watching it
I
right
was-
now.
I was 100% thinking of a blue whale with their like bristles, and I was like, I get it stat block wise, they have like a bite mechanic, but sperm whale teeth are fucking terrifying. If you can get to their mouth. Are you gonna need to? Are you gonna need to is there a breathing mechanic for this?
Whales are mammals.
Mammals.
But they breathe air and they let it out. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know what? I'm gonna say it. I don't know that much about whales, guys. I'm gonna admit it right
Whale,
now.
then.
Whale.
Whale.
All right. So, yeah. Caelum, what's the damage looking like for me?
59.
Okay. So you hit this big ol' Jemmy that then takes 59 points of damage. Because it's an object, do you have like a siege kind of thing?
That was from the siege.
All right, cool. And you also got a crit on that, right? So that's why it was 12d6?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Cool. As your big whale tail slaps against this large magic-y gem, you all hear a cracking noise from the gemmy that maintains its place, but you can see that there is a visible fracture down its center where Caelum, from the force of the Caelum whale tail. Yes.
I said I hit the base of the mythal, so I want it to fall.
Gotcha. So yeah, you smack it down. And I will say normally they are sort of like levitating in air into the ground. There is still like crack down it, but it has been shoved back down. It is no longer levitating up. And that beam of energy that is coming through it begins to crackle and looks incredibly unstable. Whale noises. It is very, very loud here. But yeah, so that was Caelum's turn. And it is at that point that the larva mage, unable to display any kind of emotion that you have seen previous, it's like the coalescence of worms on its face look like if it had eyebrows, it would be furrowing them in distaste. And you hear this kind of like hissing noise that seems to come from this collection as it is going to move away from the gem. So Gwen, you had moved around to the Hulk, right? So you were not within. Are you within 5 feet of the mage still? Or were you?
No, I don't know.
No, okay.
I don't remember. I didn't move.
Okay, you did not move, so you would be able to
behind.
take an attack of opportunity as this creature begins to move away.
Okay, I do that. 22 to hit.
Okay, that'll hit.
30 damage total.
Okay. So this creature looks like it is hanging on by just a hair as it raises its staff and brings it down onto the ground. And I need everybody, including Arjhan, who is invisible, as this is a radius sphere, to make a Constitution saving throw.
He has moved away from me?
Yes.
20.
16.
19.
11.
Okay, so
plus 4. 20.
everyone except for Cori fails this. Or succeeds.
What?
Sorry. Other way around. My beat.
Oh, booking.
As Cori, you are going to be taking 30 points of necrotic damage. Everyone else is going to be taking half. And the larva mage is just falling to pieces at this point. But that is it for its turn. Next up is the Hulk that is on Grayskull. It is going to attack Grayskull for a 19.
That hits.
Okay. Then don't the spirits only have like 1 HP or something like that?
They have 1 HP, so it goes away.
Gotcha. So yeah, it strikes out and then just Grayskull disappears, and the Hulk sort of like you see it like kind of look around like, what the fuck just happened? Like the guy I was punching just straight up disappeared. But then it is going to turn and begins it is going to actually turn towards Cori, who is prone on the ground having been yarfed up by Big O Worm. and it is going to also try and strike out against you, Cori. And that is a 17 to hit.
Miss.
Well, all right. That is all that it can do. At the end of the Hulk's turn, the Larva Mage is going to use 2 of its legendary actions to cast an Eldritch Blast towards you, Cori.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Does the prone affect that?
the prone,
It's a ranged attack.
yeah,
Yeah, so
I think if anything, it would just try and strike out against Caelum. Because he's a big fucking whale. Like, I don't think prone would count towards a gargantuan creature that's on its side. That's literally missing the broadside of a barn.
Are whales immune to prone?
No. You can trip a whale.
All right, so Caelum
Yes.
does a does a 15 hit the whale?
It just hits the whale.
Okay. So then that is going to be for 4 points of force damage.
Owie.
Make your con save.
Yep.
Second is a 19 on the die for 13 points. Yes.
I failed the con save, so it's Caelum back.
Okay. Which means that he has disadvantage on the second attack. Because Caelum would be prone. And he is not as big as a barn. That's a nat 1 to try and strike the Caelum. So he shot the first one, expected the whale to still be there. Whale was not when he goes to blast. And with the third beam, he is going to try and shoot Gwen. That's a natural 1 again.
what is happening to you? What is happening to you tonight?
I don't know. Shrug. Yeah, so Larva Mage, not able to do it. Look, I'm just saving all good karma for the next time I get to be a player somewhere else. It's fine.
Fuck.
And Arjhan, it is your go.
How's everybody looking at the moment? Getting a thumbs up.
About half as a wizard.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Okay. So, for my first attack, I'm going to grab another vial from my belt and smash it into my crossbow and aim it at. Seems like Cori's been getting hit more, so I'm gonna shoot you with it.
Yeah.
This is a potion of greater healing, which means it is 4d4 plus 4.
Should I roll
You
it?
can go ahead and roll that.
Okay, 4d4 plus 4. I got an 11 plus 4 is gonna be 15.
For my second attack, I am going to fly over towards the worm. And am I getting any sort of like read on this worm?
Big worm?
Big worm.
The read is that it seems almost mindless. Like it seems like it is more part of the greater whole, whereas the Larva Mage seems like it has a little bit more personality, you would say.
I am going to get up to the worm and spit out some acid for my second attack. I need a dexterity saving throw from the worm.
Historically, it has been bad at these. I need to stop using this dice. That is the third natural 1 for tonight. I think 4th, maybe? But yeah,
in
it
a
fails.
row. 3 in a row.
I should just win the lottery now, right? Like buy a lotto ticket?
It is going to be taking 21 points of acid damage.
Ooh.
And then I will vanish once more.
Okay. It does not like this. All right, so Gwen. It is your go. You've seen
Okay.
Arjhan just appear out of the shadows, yarf on the big wormy, and then disappear once again.
And shoot Cori.
And shoot Cori. But, like, in a helpful way.
Yeah. Okay, so Caelum hit the Gemmy thing.
Yes.
Is Caelum still right next to the Gemmy thing?
Ish? He's, like, halfway between Big Worm and Jemmy, because as a gargantuan whale that then, like, anamorphed back down to a small man, he was, like, in the center of mass of the whale.
Okie dokie. It seemed like what he did with the gem was effective, yes?
That is correct.
Gwen can surmise that this is important.
Yes, this gem is very important.
Okay, Gwen is going to throw the Sun Forger at it.
Okay. It is
I would like to...
It is an object, so it cannot succeed on a dexterity save, as it has no means of finagling itself.
Okay, I rolled 66. I rolled 4 2s. Thanks, D&D Beyond, for 18 damage.
Okay.
18 fire damage.
Sounds good.
That is my first attack. Right? That just counts as one attack.
It's an action to throw.
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
an action to use the Sun
Oh,
Forger.
okay, an action. Okay, yeah. All right, then that is my turn.
Okay.
Oh, I'll use my bonus action to manifest Salamarn.
Sure. Yeah, so Sun Forger explodes on this Jemmy. Some of the spell scroll, like these, like vile spell scroll pages that are upon it, begin to slightly burn up. And again, you can see that this large Jemmy has even more cracks on it that are forming from the force of the Sun Forger, like connecting with it and then exploding. Gwen, make a perception check.
Oh boy. 15.
15? Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Over the din of battle, as you see the Sun Forger connect on this Jemmy and it explodes, there's like a rumbling somewhere off in the city. You can't really, like, you're not really sure where it's coming from, but at the same time, who the fuck cares? Like, that's a non-issue as far as Gwen is concerned.
Noted.
So, next up is the Hulk that is on Gwen, and it is going to try and strike out at you again. That is a 22 to hit.
Yes.
That is going to be for 11 points of bludgeoning. And then a 13 does not hit Gwen.
No.
All right, next up is the big worm that is going to try and eat the wizard again. So first attack is going to be with its barbed tendril. That is a 31 to hit.
Yep.
All right, so Caelum, you are going to be taking 28 points of piercing damage, and you are grappled. And then it's going to try and eat you again.
Dexterity save, I believe.
It is going to make a bite attack towards you. And then it will be a dex. That's a modified 20 to hit.
Shield, 24.
Okay. So yeah, it goes to try and like shove you into its maw, and no, I've been through this once before. I ain't doing that shit again. So yes, you prevent yourself from being eaten. Is a good time. Next up, Cori. Cori, you can see that the damage that is being done to the Mythal is working fairly well. Like this, the beam is unstable, is getting more unstable. The portal is also getting more unstable. Caelum is currently wrapped up by one of the spined tendrils on the like lower chin area, if the face of a worm could have a chin. And it tried to eat him, but no snack was had by the worm that day.
Cori's going to stand up. Can I possibly maneuver? I know this is probably a big ask, but can I possibly maneuver to get the worm, the mythal, and the mage all in a line for a lightning bolt?
You would be able to, but you would provoke an attack of opportunity from the worm.
I'll take it.
Okay. Worm is going to try and get you with a bite attack. So, Cori, as you go to try and rush away, that is a 28 to hit.
Curses.
Make a dex save.
I forgot about this. 19?
19. Okay, so that is actually just, that is good. That is what you need. With a little bit of wiggle room. No worm puns intended. So you are not going to be swallowed by this creature. That is a plus. You are, however, going to still be taking 29 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
But you were able to get behind the mythal, line up with Rythe, start blasting.
Yep, so the worm needs to make a dex save.
Again, historically bad at these. That's a 2.
Oh, wow. Learn to dodge, worm. Let's see. Where? I've got so many spells. There it is. Okay. That's going to be 27 lightning damage.
Okay.
For the Vem, and I also need a dex check from the mage.
Okay. Mage got a 13.
That's not going to make it. So he also takes the 27 lightning damage and the 27 also for the mythal.
So, you blast with this lightning bolt through, like, into the mythal's core, and then into the worm, and then into the larva mage. And as the lightning bolt connects with the lightning mage, or with the larva mage, lightning mage. That's not right. With the larva mage, you see that their body just begins to fall apart. And as it does, you look at the mythal that begins to hold on to this electrical energy, and then it just bursts. And as small fragments of it begin to fall towards the ground around you all, you hear a voice from the larva mage that says, after a little bit of almost this like multi-layered laugh that seems to come from within it, it says, "You will never kill me in any way that truly matters. Don't you understand? I gave you the choice to willingly become part of something greater, but you denied my assistance. In a sense, I feel sorry for you. But no matter. Soon, an eternal harmony will come to this plane, and when it does, you will all finally understand the insignificance of everything. Life, death, your pathetic attempt at resistance. None of it will matter. So why is it that you fight so hard against the inevitable?" And as it says this, its body just seems to fall apart onto the ground in a bundle of fried worms. As that happens, the two hulks that were up against you, Gwen, also seem to shudder and then collapse down onto the ground, no longer moving. The large worm is still moving, but the portal that was being held open by the mythal closes almost instantly. The beam, you watch as like the energy just seems to retreat and recede as it goes past your vision. And then that is when things start going very, very, very wrong. As the ground beneath your feet begins to shift and tilt to one side, and you can feel all of your senses lurching up and looking through the doorway that you had entered in via flying. You can see that the world is moving in an upward fashion, and the building that you are in is falling. And that is where we are going to go to our break. We're going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes. Don't go no place unless it's to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. Pick yourself up something nice. I got a notification that somebody bought a t-shirt over the break. So, hey, if that was you, thank you. That's really neat. It helps support the show. What a great time we're all having here. Are we having a great time? We'll find out when we get back from break.
You ever just make a decision and not realize that it's going to have consequences for yourself later?
Yeah, all the time.
Because I think that's what I did with Tire Security.
Oh, I was gonna say, is this related to the t-shirt purchase?
No, not at all. But we'll find out what it's related to when we come back. See y'all soon, everybody. Bye. Hello, everybody.
Steven. It was big. It was scary. And it was... I don't have a pink setting. It was pink. It was an Alaskan bullworm that you just dropped on us. How fucking dare you?
I'm terrified.
SpongeBob reference. Thank you.
Good job. Well done.
That's why I didn't get it. Okay.
Look, I had like 4 seconds to come up with something. That was the best that I could do.
Sorry. We dropped the ball this week.
That's okay.
I beg to differ. That was a good reference.
Because as it turns out, the ball is not all your crew has dropped this day.
What?
As last we left off,
your
group was
us.
looking out of the door. Again, Big Wormy is still there, but you are seeing the sky moving in a fashion that would suggest that the platform that you are on is going to be approaching the ground at a certain speed.
You know the second Avengers movie?
Yeah.
I've seen it.
It's a little bit like that.
You and I remember Budapest very differently.
Cori's gonna cast Investiture of Wind and grab Caelum.
He's still grappled, honey.
By
the
The
big
worm.
worm.
Oh, by the worm.
Grab Gwen, I can fly. It's fine.
Yeah, we could. You can fly and also Dimension Door, and also I'm pretty sure you haven't used your Fae jump yet. Yeah, I'll grab Gwen.
Okay. So yeah, Investiture of Wind on yourself. Grab Gwen. I imagine it's just like the scoop pickup. Gwen, you are... Wait, Gwen, you're large-sized right now?
Medium.
Medium.
I thought halflings were technically small size or
Yeah.
medium size.
That's why your base speed's 25, because you're small.
You widow.
Small. But yeah, so Cori, you pick up the medium-sized Gwen and begin to fly off. Arjhan, wingies out, also begin to fly. Caelum.
Going to use Blessing of the Raven Queen to get on top of the worm and cast Plane Shift as an action to attack it and banish it to the plane of negative energy.
Okay. Sounds
So
good.
first off, I have to make an attack roll.
Sure.
Does a 20 hit?
Yes.
Has to make a Charisma 18.
It rolls a 6.
Okay.
It's ridiculous.
Boop. Just pops out.
Fun fact, I don't have to concentrate on this spell. It has to find its own way out of the plane of negative energy.
You also created a Nightwalker for this worm that is going to be trying to kill that worm.
Quack!
Oh well.
That's a plane of negative energy problem.
You want to know where you guys are not? That plane. So
No, I thought you were about to say safe.
also true. So Caelum, you have your Shatterkai wingies about you. You know that those are going to end in about 6 seconds. However, the immediate threat, being the worms, are roughly taken care of from what you can see. So are you also, like, are you casting fly on yourself? Yep. So yeah, your group is able to exit this building and just ascend up into the air, a place that is not steadily going downward. And as you look around you, you can see that about 3/4 of the overall floating city of Vaskor is no longer floating. It is making its way downward at an expedited rate. It would seem as though that the magical orb that was known as the Eye of Vaskor, that has been shattered, that was keeping most of the city afloat, is no longer there in whole pieces doing said thing. However, there are still a few buildings, a few spots that seem to have had their own consistent source of power in comparison that are remaining up. But for the most part, all of the buildings and all of the land masses that were connected to this central area where you all were are on the downward trend. And as you watch, you can hear the cacophonous rumbling of stone mass that was once held aloft just crashing into the earth below. And as you look, there is a plume of dust and debris that then emerges in an upward fashion and then creates this fierce dust cloud over the wreckage below.
Me down.
Yep, okay.
Gwen is going to use the runt axe to summon her Goliaths.
Okay, and are you going down to the base, like down
Yeah,
to the
she's gonna-
ground zero?
Yes. So, yeah, she's going to send the Goliaths to start rescuing people.
Okay. How many Goliaths do you get?
3d4 plus 3, 14. Oh, hot damn.
All right.
That was almost max.
Yes. So there are 14 of these Goliath spirits that just begin like going, like lifting debris, trying to find individuals. As you are also looking around, you see the wreckage of that central building that you had been inhabiting. There is a massive worm-like body that has just like pieces and chunks of debris that are like jutting through it. It did not survive the fall. It seems like dropping a city on a creature is a very good way to get rid of it in this instance. Yes, Caelum.
Would you say, there goes the neighborhood?
Yes, I would definitely say there goes the neighborhood, and another neighborhood, and another neighborhood. A small trade district also gone. There's a lot that is currently missing.
Yeah, Gwen is just kind of in a panic trying to save as many people as possible. Fine.
Arjhan's
Cori's
trying-
doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so let's make this a skill challenge. So, we'll use the initiative that we had rolled prior, so that way we don't have to roll new initiative. So at the top of the round, Arjhan, how are you best going to be helping out in this devastation?
Are there still worm things that are alive?
From what you can see, I would say there are a few, but not as many as there once was.
Just in order to like make it a little bit clear, I would like to try and use stealth, going around and sniping the worm things that are still alive.
Okay.
But just like trying to strategically and surgically just like free up the like ways from within the city out.
Yeah, for sure.
27.
Okay, 27 is a success. All right, so next up, Gwen. How are you and your Goliaths helping? I am assuming by just lifting heavy things, because Gwen, you already have an insane lift. So that's a way that you could do this.
Yeah. I would like to do that. With athletics. Yes.
The enlarge would be wearing off.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So just a straight athletics roll.
Yep.
Could I still be raging and doing this as like, I guess I have to attack, right? Not throw things. I'm thinking in her frenzy, but yeah. Okay. 17.
Okay, 17 is a success as well.
Cool.
So I imagine that it's like, there's like a tower that's laying on its side that you can hear people underneath and just, like lifting this fucking thing over your head, throw it off to the side. This is definitely like Superman helping people out in terms of strength. Next up, Cori, how are you going about helping people?
Cori's going to call on her experience in the Fomorian Fortress. She's going to go around and find any able-bodied survivors and basically organize them into teams for more search and rescue.
Okay.
She's going to use her persuasion to do so.
Do it.
That's an 11.
Okay, so Cori, these people do not know you. They are frightened. They are disoriented. If anything, trying to find individuals that would be able to help. Most of them are going to be members of the Silvered Legion. And when you start trying to take a more authoritative stance and direct them, they tell you to stand down, citizen, and that they will do their best to try and help out, given the current situation. But it seems like there's definitely significantly less of these Warforged than there were previously. So, Caelum, you were next.
Could I use an Arcana check to try and stabilize the falling land masses somehow?
Most of the land masses
Have
already collided with the ground. There are those that look like they have like some sort of self-sustaining thing that have maintained their structure, one of which, looking at it, thankfully, you're guessing is the Mages College, the college that you guys had actually gone to before. That place is still like pretty high up there and looking well enough.
Then just a perception to actively search out for survivors under the rubble.
Okay.
For a 16.
16 is exactly what you need. So as you are looking around and trying to find other individuals, you end up finding an individual whose name is Osmond Lamarck, who is... Two people can be named the same thing before they have two similar first names. It's a different Osmond. Throwing that one out there. They have darker skin, shoulder length, black hair with a more prominent goatee. But at this point, they are just like covered in dust. But they are a third year at the Mages College. And as you're kind of looking around, you see that they are also using magics to try and like move around debris and free others. And they are, he is more than willing to join your cause on this one. Seeing you kind of survey, he doesn't know who you are, but you don't look like a threat, really. I mean, are you wearing your owl mask?
He's wearing the owl mask.
you don't look covered in debris, and you're moving things looking for survivors. That's good enough for him in this situation. So then back up at the top of the round, Arjhan.
I think I would like to try and do survival to try and just like check for any signs of life, track it down, and do search and rescue.
Okay.
12.
12 is not enough. Arjhan, the individuals that you you're doing all right, and then you end up finding an individual who looks like their lower half is caught beneath a rather heavy looking structure. They are still alive, and you know that once heavy thing is lifted from them, that they are not going to be making it out, and you don't really have a good way to tell them that. You are already stressed, so that's not helping the situation.
Oh, 11.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You are already stressed, which is not helping the situation. But thankfully, thankfully is a very difficult term, but there's not much that you can really do to help them in this situation, but you still offer them at least a bit of solace in that the threat that they experienced is over. Next up is Gwen yet again.
Hi, it's me, Gwen. It's nice to meet you. Gwen is going to use her survival skills to hopefully actually...
You would not be able to use survival because Arjhan just used survival.
Sorry. Yes. Also, could I... No, it's going to take too long. Okay. Gwen is going to use, can I use intimidation to make people do what I want?
I don't see why not. You summoned 14 Goliaths.
Cool. That's a 13.
13 is not enough. So under normal circumstances, you would assume that, threatening people, yelling at them might make them do what you need to. They're pretty rattled right now and just not in the mood to listen to your yelling. Like, they are just not really paying attention to you, which is something you're not exactly used to.
No, I'm not.
Next up, Cori. You are at 3 successes and 3 failures.
Cori's going to just default to doing the best that she can on her own. She's just going to use athletics to help lift things off of people. 17.
17 is good. That is a success. So yeah, as you are helping lift things off of people, they are thankful, but there is a lot of questions as to what happened to make the floating city fall. They start asking, was this because of the worms? Was this because of the devils? Because of the demons? They are looking for answers as to who is behind the destruction of their city.
She answers their questions as best as she can. Basically informs them that there's a worm threat.
Okay. So that was Cori. Caelum. You're at 4 successes, 3 failures.
Could I use Osmond as an asset for a medicine check to just do basic first aid on people to get them moving faster?
Yeah. And he seems skilled in medicine.
That is a 25.
Okay. Yeah, so thankfully, you are able to begin the process of healing other individuals. And as you are working with Osmond, he just begins kind of opening up towards you. He doesn't... do you tell him your name?
Yeah, you'll say, I'm Caelum, I'm here to help.
And he says that his name is Osmond Lamarck. You can call him Ozzy, if you would prefer. But he will say that when all of this started, he was actually leaving. He was leaving, trying to get away through the city, helping people as much as he could, with the head artificer of the Grand Anatheum, which is the mages college that still remains up in the sky. And they were heading towards the Silver Ossuary, which was the... it's kind of like the holding facility for the Silvered Legion. Apparently there was a kind of like a prototype old machine from the Silvered Legion that his I don't want to say master, but his instructor believed would actually be helpful in fighting off against a lot of the creatures here. But a chunk of debris fell on him while they were running, and before he could actually get the key to activate that member of the Silvered Legion, devils that were inhabited by worms were drawing near, and he had to make the choice to either save his own life or try and move the wreckage and rubble in time. He's not sure if that thing would even be useful now, but he doesn't really have anything else to contribute other than his brief assistance. It seems like he was actually training to become an artificer when all of this happened. All right, Arjhan, top of the round.
With the survivors that we have so far, I want to try and get a better sense of what's going on. So just like sort of, number one, use my forceful presence to get advantage on a persuasion check. But just like, we're here to help. My God has sent us here to put a stop to this and find out what was going on and try and ask some like questions about like what was happening in the city before all of this started happening.
Okay.
Oh, that was very forceful. 17.
Okay, 17 is a success. You're at 6 successes and 3 failures. So from what you were able to gather, most of the people that lived in the lower city had no idea that anything like this was going to happen. The few survivors from the upper city, they say that roughly about a week and a half ago, there was a council that was called for all of the leaders of the city. They called themselves at the time the Illustrious Council, which some people believe was a little bit of a conceited title, but that's an argument for another time, as you know, there might not be a council left after today. But they had gotten word from the Archmage of Aldera that there was a threat that was coming towards their city that they needed to deal with. At the time, they did what they thought they could to band together to try and create a plan as to what to do in the situation where worms began to erupt, like they had heard happen down in Shroudport. What they didn't comprehend and what they didn't plan for was that one of the members of the council was already a creature made of worms, and that the plans that they were laying to, say, sequester groups of students to safety were really just creating feeding grounds for Caius. So a lot of these situations that would have occurred where people were being escorted to safe areas just was not happening, and instead was actually causing larger issues. It seems like most, and then furthermore, once individuals did start falling to Caius, bodies were just being dropped from the upper cities, land on the ground, pop back up as worms, and then just causing problems from there. By the time that they had realized what was happening, it was almost already too late. They are thankful that your goddess sent you here as you're helping out quite significantly, they would, from their perspective. And they ask what goddess in this situation would help their city.
The Queen of Dragons.
And a hush kind of falls over this crowd. And there are like some murmurs being like, oh, I heard that she's an evil deity. Why would she help us? Until one of these individuals, who seems like they are more well-spoken than the others, pipes in that good and evil in this situation do not matter as far as the gods are concerned. What matters is that they sent someone. They sent someone to help, and for that we should be grateful. And at that person also like siding with you. It seems like they are more of a stand-in for the lay people of the city, and their affirmation with you saying, oh, it was the Queen of Dragons who did this, is actually causing some people who might have been against the idea of Tiamat helping to kind of reconsider their biases.
And I'll back up this person who is backing up me, and just be like, yes, she has a reputation, but after all of her progeny were wiped out from this world, do you really think that she or any other god wants to see that happen here again?
And again, there are some murmurings that are then held in confirmation. And the man that is helping you out, his name is Bronston.
Hell yeah.
And Bronston was actually also the one who was letting you know about what was happening with the Illustrious Council, as he was the spokesperson for the lower city on the council itself. He was pretty close to the other members of the council, but things happen. So that is a success. Gwen. 6 successes, 3 failures.
Gwen can do athletics again, so she's gonna go ahead and do that. Look, I have one thing that I'm good at. It's stupid, but I'm gonna do it. Where did my character sheet go? Why are you over here now? I don't understand. Okay. 24.
24?
Yes.
That is very athletic. So you're just continuing to lift things and clear out the area. As you are continuing to do this, you are noticing that there are far less afterworms than had been in Shroudport. It seems like most of them either were crushed by the buildings or overall seem to have been able to kind of be fended off by the Silvered Legion, as well as the infernal summonings that the wizards had cast before potentially they themselves were crushed. But Gwen, as you are in the process of lifting debris and clearing things out, you do notice that there are still demonic entities here, and they seem to be looting. But like,
Not on my watch.
but like they aren't grabbing food. They aren't grabbing like swords or arms or anything like that. It looks like they are specifically like looking through rubble to try and find shiny things. And as you're looking, it seems like they're like grabbing onto gold and other things like that.
Yeah, not about that. Let's kill some demons.
Okay. Sounds good.
I guess Gwen doesn't know that. Has Gwen ever? Well, we went to the Hells,
Yeah.
so we met devils, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You've met
so
devils
she
a
knows
few
that,
times.
Yeah, she knows that they can be intelligent, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she'll try and persuade them to leave, in that she's going to throw heavy things at them.
Yeah. And they like this creature that you see is like imagine if a vulture could stand on two legs and had arms out in front of it, as well as like these kind of sickly wings, this more like molted head shape, as they are in the process of just like kind of rifling through what looks like the remains of a shop. You just start throwing shit at them and they kind of squawk and hobble and fly away from you. And it looks like they are going to the northeastern part of the city. At least in their escape.
That's a problem for another time.
Cori. You have 7 successes and 3 failures. The next roll determines.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, she has gained a rapport with a gaggle of folks that she has helped dig out of the rubble. She's gonna try persuasion again to kind of help direct them out of the danger zone and into a place that's less precarious. 24.
24? That is a success. So you start like, even though the Silver Legion didn't necessarily want you helping, and they still refer to you as citizen, you are kind of able to like convince the regular ass people of the town that, okay, we need to get out of the blast, like out of the drop radius from where the city fell. We need to go up onto the edges near the walls, possibly outside of the walls of the city, start setting up camps there. We need to, like, that's where we need to start sending people. And seeing your confidence and seeing the clear-headedness that you are providing in this situation, the individuals of the city that remain are willing to follow you and follow your lead on this one. And that is the end of the skill challenge, as you have earned 8 successes.
After all of this, Caelum will use sending and contact Archmage Stonemantle.
Okay.
Cercelier has fallen. Worms are suppressed. Mage's
Score.
College holds.
Vaskor.
Vaskor.
Oh, Vaskor, sorry.
Yes.
Vaskor. Mage's College holds. They need help. Caelum.
Okay. Fallen literally or figuratively. Help is on the way.
One last sending. Prepare fly spells.
Okay. And yeah, I would say, because it was already later in the evening when you guys had arrived at Vaskor, by the time that the events have transpired, it is getting closer to early morning. You can see the sun kind of rising on the distant horizon. As it does, outside of the city's walls, you see that there are like these magic circles, not the spell magic circle, but these arcane circles that begin to open up, and through them you see mages dressed in white that are coming through, and there are about 24 of them, as there are 2 different like circles that have been opened, 12 through each. And they just immediately begin going to assess the situation, begin helping people as best they can. It looks like med mages were actually sent from Aldera.
Caelum finds a
The
roof.
shield?
What?
Sorry, I was making a pun to the Avengers movie. I said, "This is shield. This is not so bad."
Yeah, Caelum's gonna find a roof and just sit there and ruminate on how things have gone so wrong.
Gwen's gonna ask someone how things went so wrong.
They don't know. There were worm people that were dropping from the sky, and then the wizards started summoning devils and demons to try and fend off, because some had heard from the archmage that the worms themselves were capable of only inhabiting humanoids. It turns out that, maybe that wasn't the case, and they have a little bit more power than they had initially thought. Likewise, they did not realize that some of the demons might have had a mind of their own. One such demon that one of these bystanders had seen and then quickly ran away from, saw them cast a spell on themselves that looked like a dark metal crown that seemed to appear over the demon's head, where the demon then turned on its summoner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gwen's gonna go talk to Cori then. Well, she's gonna go talk to Arjhan, TBH. Whatever he's doing.
He's free.
Sorry?
He's free.
He is free.
Oh, he's free. Okay. Yeah, Gwen's just going to, did you have any idea that was gonna happen?
That would be a giant worm attacking the city and likely causing all sorts of destruction.
No, that destroying the gem would drop the city.
No. I mean, I'm not particularly surprised by it. I thought that Caelum needed the gem to reverse what was going on here.
Well, I saw him attack it, so I attacked it. We did that. We dropped the city. That was us. I mean, is there any way that... Could we have done something differently?
Kill the worm faster.
I can't stop thinking about all the people we probably killed. And trying to save this place. That we didn't think it through. We didn't go in with a plan. And we killed a lot of people.
I don't know that there was time to make a plan. I'm not saying that your feelings aren't valid. I really don't see this having gone any other way.
I mean, yeah, we didn't know what we were going into. That's fine. I can't. get that out of my head. That's all.
I know. I'm sorry.
Well, what's next?
We need to find out if was there any other place with that Caius had within his sights.
Okay. Did we go talk to the mages?
No. Yeah, let's do that. And we'll go. We'll go catch up with the mages. I thought Caelum was talking to the mages, but I guess not. He just
It's hanging out on a roof.
Did something, and then they all started appearing.
Yeah.
When you say mages, I assume that you're talking about the ones from elsewhere.
Yes, they are from Aldera, across the sea.
Yeah, Gwen doesn't know whomever. So people with authority and who know magic stuff. Maybe they can help.
Yeah. So yeah, you go and you begin speaking with the medical mages, and as you do, they have been briefed on the situation. But as far as having the ability and know-how as to track Caius, they are unsure as to how to do that. It seems like talking with them, these are also students. Like, these aren't like professional mages. These are students at the other mage college that are like, oh, if I like, I'm getting my on-site experience for medical school. Like, they are doing their best. But as far as being like in the upper echelons, they are not.
Can they direct us to people who would know?
They ask if there is if you know somebody who can get into contact with the Archmage, she might be able to help you.
Caelum.
Yeah. Meanwhile, as you are beginning the search for Caelum, you are on a rooftop contemplating. Cori, what are you doing?
Cori's going to offer healing services to as many people as possible. And then I think she's going to find Caelum.
Okay.
Basically, like, I think when we last left him, he was, like, contemplating on a roof somewhere. When he hears, like, wind, and he looks up, and she's got an investiture of wind, and lands next to him. How many mythals are there?
You're muted.
I don't know. I was only made aware of the 2.
If there are more of them, we need to find out where they are and anticipate another attack like this, because we cannot have a repeat of today.
Right.
Aside from that, we should have Stone Mantle repeat the ritual involving the worms. We need to find out if there's any more accumulations occurring.
I can teleport us there after a long rest. I'm almost tapped.
All right. She turns to walk away, then she just kind of stops. And then with a sigh, she's gonna, like, sit down on the roof next to him. And then just put her head in her hands. She doesn't say anything else.
Caelum draws his legs up into his chest, or knees up into his chest, and just rests his forehead on the top of his knees.
They just sit together.
All right. You probably sit there for a good 20 minutes before you start hearing Arjhan and Gwen calling out for the two of you. I mean, you guys also have the clasps of communication, so you'd probably be able to easier lock down as to where they are. But yeah, about 20 minutes or so before Arjhan and Gwen can find the two of you.
Hey,
Caelum.
guys!
Pebble that falls from the roof the elves are sitting on.
Ow.
Made of scales. Buck up, man.
I'm tender-headed.
Can we go up there, please?
We go up.
Uppies.
Yeah.
Yeah. The four of you are
Hey.
all on top of this roof.
Hey, we need to talk to the head mage guy.
Well, one, it's a lady, but
Duder.
yeah, I'm almost tapped out of resources.
What, do you know where they are?
Alir Stone Mantle, or Archmage Stone Mantle on the continent, the other place. Listen,
The
it's been a
what?
day.
Oh, right. You went to go visit her once, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Don't they have, like, those teleporty things here?
Possibly. But to actively just go to her directly, I have that circle in my book.
But you can't do that now.
I can do it in the morning.
Do we need to until the morning? She kind of looks around at everyone.
I'm not sure that there's much else that we can do here. No.
Right. Well, we could go ask and see if one of the teleportation things is up still. That can take it to her. I mean, last time we waited, this happened, so I'd like to get a move on as soon as possible.
If Gwen and I look around and try to talk to some of the surviving mages, from Vaskor, could we try to find somebody who still has teleport that didn't already bamf out?
So I would say, speaking with one of the mages, you would at least be able to find somebody that has ascending from one of the med school mages. And they would be able to at least relay to Stone Mantle that your group would like to see her, would like to have her here, if possible. And there is a pause, and he asks your group, or not even, he doesn't even have to ask, but he looks at your group, then looks up at the Mages College that is still there. And he then relays, yes, the college is still there. The college is still safe. And he then looks at your group, those that approached, and says she will be arriving at the Mage College shortly, as it seems like using teleportation circles is a lot more handy
Oh, fucking sweet. Thank you. You're doing a great job.
They nod and say, I hope I can graduate this year.
Woof.
Oh. Well, I know Arjhan and Gwen would be able to get back up there, but Caelum, Cori, do you still have means of travel?
If I uptick, yes.
If not, I can try to carry you as well.
It's fine.
Or take trips.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay.
I'll burn a 5th level spell to cast Fly on himself and Cori.
Okay. And we go to the Mage College.
Yep. And arriving at the Mages College, at the front door, you can see that the doors themselves have been barred. There is a shimmering bluish effect that is around the door itself. And as you go to try and pass through, it seems like you are unable to actually enter into the school itself. And in the distance, you can hear that there is like bickering happening inside of the school itself. Otherwise, it sounds empty. But the two parties that are arguing are justifying the use of the barrier. And a female voice that you recognize as Archmage Stonemantle eventually says, well, that's just preposterous. The city's already fallen. If there were going to be any threats, they would have just broken in through the buildings up top if there was like a large worm thing, like one of the other mages said that there was. So let's just lower it. I'm expecting company. And the response that you get is a more metallic tinged voice that says, you're expecting company in my home. And she says, well, yes, it's all the same home anyways. It doesn't really matter. And you see that Archmage Stonemantle is approaching the barrier with a Warforged, but this Warforged is wearing these long robes. And you actually have met this Warforged before. They are a head librarian. Caelum has not. At least this Caelum has not. But you have met this individual before, and upon seeing your group, Alindra waves. The Warforged also seems to tilt his head a little bit, looking at your group, and then concedes to lower the barrier. At this point, Alindra is able to kind of look out past you and just sort of grimaces a little bit, seeing that there is a lot more open sky in Vaskor than there was previously, and then looks at your group and says, or asks, "You want to track down Caius, correct?"
Yes.
Come inside. And she motions you in, and she walks down a corridor for a little bit, and it's the first door that she encounters. Walks in. It's a classroom, and she just brushes a bunch of things off of the desk that are on there, which causes the Warforged to kind of a little bit of hubbub. As being no, that's so-and-so's desk. You can't just do that. And she doesn't seem to really respond or care all that much. But laying out a map, she says, all right, you want to try and track him down, right? Do you have a piece of him still?
Can I pull a wormy off of Gwen's head? She was covered.
Yes, but they are burrowing creatures, so it wouldn't have just
gross.
stayed there.
Is it
Gross.
would a dead worm?
Dead worm
Work?
would count.
Okay. Can we pull a dead worm
Yes.
off of Gwen?
Why does it have to be on?
Because you
What,
got
has that-
spewed on.
whole time. Why didn't anybody fucking tell me that I was had a dead worm in my hair? Cori, can you check to make sure there's nothing else, please?
Cori kneels down and starts. "Nyeh."
All right, and as Cori, as you are meticulously going through Gwen's hair, Gwen, you like, it is one of those feelings like you will never be clean. Like people just left that in your hair for so long.
Yeah, that's fucking rude. Don't do that.
To be fair, we've been separated from each other for a good while.
But Arjhan, you and Caelum watch as Alindra repeats the same spell that she had done before, rolling out a map, taking a hammer inside of this locket, or putting the worm inside of a locket, taking out a hammer and nail, driving it through, and then as a scrying tool, blood begins to drip down onto this map. And as it begins to drip, that is where we are going to call it for tonight's session. Yes, Caelum.
Just really quickly, Caelum uses his reaction to copy the spell to try and understand the basics of it, so next time he can make it his own.
Yes. It is a mind spike spell that has been augmented.
Cool.
And as the blood falls onto this page, that is where we are going to call it for tonight's session. So before we even begin to our outros, welcome to level 16, guys.
Oh, it's been so long.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Congratulations, you have leveled.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Oh, we finally
Oh,
finished
yeah,
the downtime
the
arc.
penguin.
Yep.
I'm gonna
How
take a level in cleric.
How
Well,
did everybody enjoy their downtime?
well, the city had a massive amount of downtime, if you know what I'm
Oh,
saying.
get the fuck out of here.
What best way to end the show? I love having these. I love having all y'all on the channel. RJ, where can we find you? What do you do?
Hey everybody, I'm RJ. You can catch me at RJustice282 on Twitter and Twitch, where I tweet about the nerdy things in my life and sometimes stream with my friends. You can catch me here on Mondays as Caelum the Shadowkai Wizard in our Hober campaign. Sometimes over at GGK on various weeks. I'll tweet whenever there's a game, but I'm there a lot as well. And finally, over at the Hype Goblins channel on Sunday mornings, where I play Roland Grandbrook, a sorcerer cleric who... They just had a ball. He had a good time with his Naga girlfriend. It's great. He's gonna marry that girl. DanaeKeener.com.
Hello, I'm LBHackEmUp. You can find me at LBHackEmUp on the Twitters and the Twitches. Next time I'm going to be live is on my channel tomorrow at 3 o'clock, where I'm going to be playing some Killer and Dead by Daylight, which is always super fun. I might try out someone new. I tried to play the nurse. Not gonna happen. That was not a good time for me. But I'll probably be playing some Michael and some Michael Myers, Bing Bong, and Ghostface to get better at it, so I can kill my friends better next time. If you want my full schedule, check it out on my Twitter. And yeah, we're heading towards 400 followers on Twitch, and I'm super excited for the next giveaway that we still need to give away this giveaway. DanaeKeener.com.
Hoi, I'm Cyber. You can find me on Twitter at CyberWolf1201. I ship posts, and I guess I'm a Corella Stan account because reasons. Yeah, you can actually find links to all my stuff at CyberWolf1201.live, including my Twitch, where right now we're playing Minecraft. I'm trying to figure out how to play Minecraft. Last episode, we got a B, and I'm very happy about it. That's it. YouTube.com/CyberWolf1201 exists. There will be new things going to there whenever I have time to make them. But right now, I have a whole bunch of videos coming out on Jabroni TV, YouTube every Saturday. So go check those out, especially if you like Pokemon. Because, yeah, we've got a lot of Pokemon. For RPG stuff, yes, in Minecraft I did lose the hole several times. For RPG stuff, I'm here on Mondays. DanaeKeener.com.
It's Speaking of DanaeKeener.com, hi everybody, I'm Danae Keener. You can find me at DanaeKeener.com. I do nerdy drawings mostly related to D&D and a lot of things on this channel. You can also find me at Twitter as at Danae Keener, also as at Flailing Wings. You can find on at Danae Keener, there is a pinned tweet that has my schedule. You can see all of the streaming things that I'm up to. DanaeKeener.com.
And if you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey Acorns, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures. We do shows like this on Monday and Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as well as on Sundays at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/Indoor Adventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played up until this point, including full playthroughs of Curse of Strahd, Ghost of Saltmarsh, Waterdeep Dragon Heist, Tyrant Security, Tomb of Annihilation, and many, many more to come. But for now, we are going to be going into our Patreon-supported after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to join us at that Patreon, and we will do our best to respond in kind. And with that, I would like to say once again, thank you to everybody who decided to stop on by. Thank you to these players for putting up with my bullshit once again this week. And we'll see all of you guys next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye!